Yo, what's up, people? This your boy Kenny Klutch coming at you live out of Jacksonville, baby. Day 17. We at 'em again. We coming at you with 100 days of diversity on the road to Renaissance. Hit your boy up, Kenny Klutch at gmail.com or Road2Renaissance at gmail.com. We're gonna jump right on into today's lesson. We're gonna work on how to keep your time and your body and your mind in forward motion when you're unemployed. We had a lot of things on the topic of unemployment or, getting back to work, career changes. For myself, I've worked in workforce development for over 15, 20 years in my previous career. So when you think about getting back to applying for jobs, today's workforce has changed. Everything is online. I hear a lot of my ex-offenders buddies, when they say they come back to, the regular life, everything is really not to their favor in terms of technology. They might not know about the apps. They might not know how to copy and paste, uploading a resume, downloading from the cloud, different things that a lot of folks that might be technologically savvy take for granted. But the average person that's changing careers or that has had a job that has been comfortable for them for quite some time, and then they have to shift gears. There's a big thing that takes effect on the inside, and basically how you deal with that cognitively and how you put those parameters to the side and keep on pushing. So today we're going to jump straight on in. This is a nice one. We're talking today about the Unemployment Survival Guide by Jim Stringham, Ph.D, and David Workman. These two guys put something together that's really a quick read. It's real thin. You could probably sit down and read it in one setting, but it's a great emphasis on how to keep your body, your mind, your activities, using the time wisely and putting things together in your path to getting back to work. All right, let's jump right on into this. All right, this book is set up basically to give us some ideas on how to use the structure. We hear a daily compass about unemployment rates in different parts of the nation and things like that. Let me just give us a little tandem on what's going down. This is the inside flap. Since the average worker stays at the job less than 3.5 years, everyone is bound to face the throes of unemployment. So what can you do about it? Get out of the soup line and start stirring your way to sanity. The Unemployment Survival Guide is for anyone who has quit a job, been canned, laid off, or just plain pink slipped. With ideas for creative entertainment, solutions to breaking the internet addiction, finding supportive compadres, and surviving the holidays on the cheap, this book is a staple for anyone's cupboard. Soup up your fortune and take stock in what you want to find and what you have to offer. Get moving, grab this book, tell your friends you're working full-time on finding the next job, and start cooking up some opportunities. All right, before we jump on into this book, basically it uses like a recipe for success. And I like to start from what the bottom was. What they're saying is, looking for a job is a full-time job. Let's get that day one, number one. Looking for a job is a full-time job. Even if you're looking to work part-time, you still gonna have to look for a job full-time. 8 hours on a full-time job, consider that condensed down to at least working 3 to 4 hours full-time. That's a full-time effort when you're looking for work. If you want to go more, cool. And today's comforts, a lot of folks have the internet at some place in their household. If they got a hotspot, if they could use their web phone, if they have a computer at the house, even if you got that old dinosaur where it just got dial up, still turn it on and put something together. All right, I'm going to just give you some tools that you're definitely going to need in order to get yourself back to work, and that's going to save you some time. All right, first thing first. 2 pens. At least 2 pens. I prefer blue and a black. Why? Because you like a little variety. We already talking about days of diversity. You have a little diversity. Most employers will work with you on a blue or a black situation. Black, that's a standard. Blue, you can't go wrong when you're writing blue on a white sheet of paper. So that's for the blue. Not only for the variety, but you don't have to look at the paper in the light to decide whether or not it's a copy or not. Don't make the employer work extra hard by you not having the right things at your disposal. All right, so at least 2 pens. Why 2, Kenny? Because if you got one and then one starts skipping on you and you got to go to the counter and ask the receptionist for a secondary pen because yours stopped working on you, that first impression is going to look like you're not prepared. All right, so 2 pens first. Second thing you need is a little pocket planner. Get you a pocket planner that's going to keep all your dates in there. You know, get you one that's going to have a little legway for notes, you know, something to take your notes. Get you a little diary going on, how you feel today. Different little sheets of paper, you know, so that you can write down these thoughts and things. And that agenda, that planner, is going to keep you organized so that you don't miss any dates or any other appointments that coincide with you looking for work. Because not only is looking for work a full-time job, but you have regular life you're going to have to do at the same time too. So don't get it twisted by thinking that everything going to go smooth. You know, have it written down so you can take the thoughts out of your head on these different appointments and interviews that you have scheduled to come up, and you can put them down on paper. Get you one that has some little quotes in it too to keep you motivated. That won't hurt either. All right. Third tool you need, mandatory. This is an employer contact sheet. You can make one up on your own. You could go to the one-stop center and they have them already lined up. The one-stop center, they have those that's kind of like 5 to a sheet. Why? Because that's the basic minimum. If you're one of those folks out there that's just doing the basic minimum to get the unemployment, I mean, that's cool. You know, they want you to do 5 a week, you know, 10 every 2 weeks. If you get a job out of that, you know, average, cool. But this is one for the varsity players. This one has 9 levels on it, 9 per sheet. And what I suggest, if you're really trying to look for a job in a short amount of time, the object is get as many applications as you can out and work from what I like to call the 10% rule. The 10% rule is you're going to get back 10% of whatever you put out. So if you put out 10 applications a day, expect to hear from at least 1. If you put out 20, expect to hear from 1 or 2. You know, playing the low end. It's 20 applications a day, man. I'll be on the thing all day. What else you got to do all day? You know, so number 1, make it fun. In today's internet, I'll give you some websites. You know, you got Indeed.com, you got Monster.com, Career Builder, Snag a Job. You know, if you just go on Google and punch in free internet employment sites, you'll have a list of the regulars. You know, but if you do 5 apps per website, you'll not only get you a good variety, but all websites don't have the same jobs on it. So you could look locally. You could use Indeed to do your zip code search or nationwide, and that's a big thing that you really want to stay in contact with. But definitely, every time you write out an application, it is whether you're going in person, whether you're applying it online, you definitely want to write it down. So let me just give you some earmarks on what this is saying. The date, you know, put the time in there, the time or date. You know, also the name and address of the employee so you don't forget where you're going when they call you back a week later and tell you to come interview. You fool around, forget where you're going. Put the person name in there, their phone and number. Put their number in there, put their name in there, the type of job that you're going to get. The name of the person who hires. And I found this in my personal experience. Some people have a manager and a general manager that have the same name. You got 2 Kevins, you got 2 Jeffs, you got, you know, different names and crew as well as managers. Write that down. And then last but not least, results. What's the results? Put pending if you haven't heard back from them. If they tell you call them Thursday at 4 o'clock, write that down because you don't want to keep all these things in your head that's just marinating, waiting for you to forget them just because you're not, you know, connected enough to write it down on paper. All right, so that's enough about that. Can't drill that one home too much. That's mandatory. 9, preferably 10 minimum per day, but I want you to do 2 sheets. If you can get 18 to 20 applications out a day, break it down. 3 to 5 of them going to be the heavy duty ones, the ones with all the questions and the assessments and all that stuff. But the other 10 to 15, those are ones you could do right on the phone, on the app. Set you up an account, open that thing up, log it in, and send that quick apply application. That counts just as it does with any other application. All right, cool. Let's jump right on into this. This is the survival guide, the unemployment survival guide. Basically, it's a quick read. Jim Stringham, Ph.D., and David Work. Let's jump right on in. All right, step number 1. When we're talking about the unemployment guide, you have a lot of things we're talking about. Chapter 1, here's some topics. Nourish your mind. When we're talking about nourishing your mind, keep your mind moving. Staying at home playing video games, internet buffet all day long, not really resorting to nothing. That's not nourishing your mind. Read up on some things. Read up on how you could advance your skills. Learn a new trade. Improve the skills you already have. Here's some topics on chapter 1. Remember, this too shall pass. Facing Black Monday. Accept being unemployed as a full-time job. We just talked about that. Dealing with your loss. Discard resentment. We got to throw resentment away because the resentment is like a default setting. Man, I'll go back around there and shoot the place up. You're going to wind up back on TV. And you talk about discarding that, throw them old resentment energies away. Put poverty in perspective. And last but not least, embrace the uncertainty of change. We always talk about change and how much we don't like change, but there's so much uncertainty, ebbs and flow with change in jobs, change in careers. You might have to work on the other side of town. All these things come into play. All right, chapter 2. A bowl of inspiration. Be grateful. Give thanks. Look for inspiration and feed your soul. I like to talk about things like quotes.com or get you some quotes. Get you an inspiration book or something like that that's going to help feed your mind and keep that active energy on top of things. All right, chapter 3. It boils down to health. Broaden your identity. Maintain a daily structure. Get your beauty rest. Run for your life. Eat to live, don't live to eat. Limit personal and social drinking. Drop kick bad habits and step away from the video games. That's a whole chapter based on how we use our leisure time. Just because you're at home, and especially if you have that, pacification of the unemployment coming in, it's not going to make you want to do anything extra than just the basics. So we have to break this down through this book to just talk about how we use idle time in idle ways, and not you're not really getting nothing accomplished. It's just that you can do more with the same amount of time that you use frivolously. All right, chapter 4. Taking stock in your finances. Explore your severance package thoroughly if you have one. Check on your finances. Budget the basics. Plan ahead. Borrow wisely from the bank of dad. And ask yourself, what is wealth? That's a whole chapter on taking stock on your financial fruition and what really means the right things for you on how you spend your money. You might have to get down and write down a budget on how you're spending. Has adjusted based on you not having a job right now currently. And these things are basic to your sustenance down the line. But basically, when you are not at that income level that you expect, this is the good time to think about it. All right, chapter 5, homemade goodness. Improve your surroundings. Let kids be kids. Stick together. Enjoy new roles. Get out. Your family and your dog will thank you. And living at the hotel mom. We back, people. Basically, there's a whole domino effect on how your family is affected while you're not employed. So, of course, everything is not magic pixie dust where it just happens overnight. But remember, everybody got a patience level and you don't want to test it by slumming around the house. Do something, get out, and do something. All right, chapter 6. Condensed Ingredients. Avoid isolation. It's so isolating. Tell the truth. It will set you free. Laugh it up. It's the best medicine of all. Find supportive people and create a support group. That's a great one because you don't want to have crabs in the bucket pulling you down, telling you negative things about how long it's going to take for you to get a job, or man, your situation so bad that you're not going to, come up, you're not going to do nothing about it, disassociate with those folks. They're not only any energy drainers, but they don't really mean you no good. All right. Same chapter 6. Do for others, volunteering. Spend time with your friends, your other family. Host a party for an unemployed friend. Honor holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries, and learn to receive. That's a biggie, because when people try to give energy to you, sometimes you don't feel that you're worthy because you don't have nothing to give them, nothing back, especially if you're thinking that it's all just connected to monetary means. All right, chapter 7. Soup up your future. Work no-brainer jobs. Consider income alternatives. Add new job skills. Jumpstart your energy level. Make the best of being overqualified and be still. That's a biggie, because tranquility is a part of meditation and getting in rhythm, staying faith-based, staying prayed up, and that's going to keep your mind at a good even keel, whereas you're not going all over the place with your mentals, where you're doing something reckless and sliding back 2 steps backwards. Chapter 8, as we wrapping up. End the day at 5 p.m. Adopt a new mantra. TGI Thursday. Take some time off. Seek out free alternatives. Have some fun on a dime. Indulge in retail therapy. And take care Monday ahead. Instant success. Think about instant gratification. It all don't have to be monetary. Just keep up with those things on a daily basis. And when you get callbacks, those things feel like successes, which they are. So go and get this one. This is real nice. The Unemployment Survival Guide by my man Jim Stringham, Ph.D, and David Workman. This is a good one. All right. Last but not least, hit your boy up, Klutch at gmail.com, Road2Renaissance at gmail.com. And remember, especially while you're unemployed, don't pull the trigger tonight. Y'all be cool. What's happening, people? What's happening in New Orleans? What's happening in my fam, moms, pops, my sister, my nieces? What's happening, my boys? What's happening out there, y'all? We coming up. Day 17. You're going to get you a job. Keep plugging away. Do a mandatory minimum of 10 per day. I want you to stretch to do 20, because with today's online application process and everybody got a smartphone, just download the app and apply it through the phone. That counts as one. Hit your boy up. What's up, my wife, Denise? Y'all be cool out there. Peace.